Okay, straight to it. Today we're going to have a look at modifying the Storm switch for retrofitting to some of the older model scooters, in this case Eagle Pro. Why may you want to install the Storm switch? Well, it's quite well made and it looks good. If you are a regular commuter, you may want to add indicators to your scooter. And if you've got this style switch, the black switch stock model, it's very hard to tell visually and by touch what mode you're in terms of eco, turbo, single, dual. So you may want to put a switch in that has more positive identification of what mode you're operating in. So when you open it up, take the 2 hex screws out the back, you're met with the usual explosion in the glue factory. This is pretty easy to get off, maybe 20 minutes with a pair of sharp tweezers. You probably don't need to heat it up, but if you do, yeah, it's pretty easy to come off in sort of large chunks. We're going to look at modifying the switch, which at the moment has hazard lights, and going to modify that to be the single dual switch, and to look at putting the indicators, which run down to the deck for this switch, into the handlebars. So we're going to add a modification into there. So this is it with the glue removed. You actually don't need to remove the glue on this one, so it's just this section in here. So the layout is, you've got the horn switch that sits down here, which is a momentary switch. You've got what's configured at the moment as the hazard indicators, and here you've got the eco turbo switch. You've got the indicators, and then you've got the on-off up here. So for the on-off, it's configured that you have plus 12 volts for the LED coming in here. Then you've got the switched input, you've got the switched output, and you have the negative for the LEDs. The other switches are 90 degrees out, so you've got plus 12 volts for the LEDs, minus in and out, switched out, and they're all lined up the same. Red is the plus 12 volt coming in, and then you've got your negative 12 volts or ground rail coming in. You've got your indicator right, indicator left, you've got your on-off switch out, you've got your hazard lights out, the horn out is here, and this is a loop circuit, the 2 brown wires for the Eco Turbo. So these are the modifications I've done for my Eagle Pro. Is I've added in a new HiGo cable in the back, because I'm going to install the indicator lights into the handlebar. If you're putting indicators in at the deck, you don't need to remove these existing stock lines, and you can just run it down through the main cable. So here I've put in say the right, the left, and an extra line into the negative terminal. And anyone that's good at soldering will be horrified at the moment, but yeah, this could be a little bit better. The other important thing to note is that if you want to turn the hazard lights into a single dual motor, you need to have a loop, because all these switches are referenced to plus 12 volts. So here I've just reused the stock indicator cables, so they're into a loop. What you have here is you have a plus 12 volt rail that runs down like this. So in order to isolate this pin, you need to break it the track on the board here and here, such that you don't reference 12 volts, so it's just a straight in and out loop. And then you then need to make a 12 volt bridge between this pin and to this SMD resistor, because the track continues down via this resistor to power the other LEDs around the edge of the switch. So this shows it buttoned up, so fit the HIGO cable here. It's a 3-pin 4mm hole. It nestles nicely in this blank space here. Just put a cable tie on there for strain relief, and then you can you know, put some sealant around there if needs be. There's all different modifications you can do depending on your scooter model. So if you've got indicators at the deck, you can just keep on using those. And if you already got a dual only scooter, then you may not need to do this modification. You can just plumb in the hazard lights. But the switch is pretty readily available from Aliexpress, from the official Dualtron store. 100 something US dollars, arrives pretty quickly, but it looks pretty good on the scooter. It's got a nice glow around the edge, which you can't really see in this picture. And for me, the big positives are putting the indicators in, but I can tell by visually and by touch, you know, whether this is in Eco Turbo, and now this is not hazard, but this is my single dual, and I find that much safer. Hope that helps.